Many of us over here, and we're going to start today with inviting Dr. Vishpala, the grand dame of NJH, the most wonderful and amazing homeopath that we've all had the pleasure of hearing on stage and on webinars and reading all her lovely opinions in the NJH magazine. So Vishpala ma'am, please start this wonderful seminar.
Thank you, Anjali. I'm so happy to see everybody looking so beautiful. So here we go. This is the 13th NJH webinar this season, and it's on 13th of February 2021. So that spells good for us actually. So 13th was actually called unlucky. Anybody has any idea why? Because 13th disciple of Jesus Christ was Judas, and he was the 13th person to sit at the table, and he betrayed him. So that is why it was unlucky. But if the number 13 scares you, you're not the only one in the world. There are many people who are scared. Hoteliers often have straight away after 12, they have the 14th floor. They don't number the 13th, and so on and so forth. So, but NJH is not afraid. We are calling this the NJH 13th webinar, because for me 13th is 3 plus 1, which is 4, and you cannot have anything which is stable without the number 4, right? Without 4 legs. And 13th is actually auspicious in many places. In America, when they started, there were 13 colonies in the first time. So 13th red and white stripes, 13th olive leaves and stars on the seal of the United States. And in Hinduism, people worship Lord Shiva and Parvati on Trayodashi, the 13th day in the Hindu month. And then they say you'll be blessed with wealth, children, happiness, and prosperity. There are 13 Buddhas in the Shingon sect of Buddhism and 13 lucky signs in the Tibetan book of the Great Liberation. So we in India, of course, will always believe 13 is good, and we are anyway stronger than any superstition. Isn't it so? So, yes, I always firmly believe that we should be stronger than any, and finally it's only a superstition and nothing else. So in different countries, you have different numbers which are lucky and different numbers which are unlucky. So it's all in the mind. Today also we have a very unusual topic, which is the skin. And they say beauty is only skin deep. But the first encounter with any person is the skin, the face, how you look. So first impressions, if they are good, it can always be good. It cannot be bad, is it? And if you see a good countenance, a good dressing, a good happy smiley face, then those are first impressions which will always carry you far. So if you believe that the idiom beauty is only skin deep, then you would make efforts to look ugly. And will that help you? I don't think so. The first time person sees you and you're unkempt or you're ugly or you're not good looking, it's not that you not listen to you, but his mind will be put off. So there's nothing to be sad about or wary about looking good. We at NJH, if you see all around us, we always look good. So that is the thing. Beauty and comely appearance can always stand you in good stead. And it's both for your sake and your health. I always say the opposite person is the one who is looking at you. So for him or her, you should look good so that his day goes well. Otherwise, why would there be so many wonders of the world? All of them are beautiful. We don't call any ugly structures as beautiful or saying it's a wonder of the world. So the only problem is when you're obsessed with it. I know many actresses who are obsessed. One wrinkle, one little wart, and they will run to the plastic surgeon. So that obsession is the thing which is to be avoided. And so let us come with these few words, come to delve in the subject of NJH and its webinars. Can I call upon Dr. Praveen Kumar, my friend for over 30 years, and since the inception of NJH and before that, one of NJH's most popular teachers, speakers, and author, to tell us a little bit about NJH. Dr. Praveen Kumar?
Yes, Dr. Vishpala. Good evening to everyone. So happy to see you all. And you know, where am I? I am on a highway. And really, NJH is also on the highway. It is never in the line. Small lanes, it will never take. It is on the highway. But one thing, Dr. Vishpala, I have a small complaint against you.
Okay.
Why did you name it as National Journal of Homeopathy? For example, today the moderator is from London, and one of our editors, associate editors, is from Canada, and we have plenty of readers from abroad everywhere. So it should be aptly called as International Journal of Homeopathy, not National Journal of Homeopathy.
Everybody knows that, but we cannot change the name now. That's a brand. That's it.
Okay. Anyway, national we can put in turn. Anyway, so in fact, as Dr. Vishpala rightly put it, I'm there with the birth of NJH, and I am continuing till my last breath. I would be continuing with NJH, and I'm so happy to be associated with this. And we all know the statistics that keep them aside. But what is the great message NJH gives to the people of homeopathy? It's a theme-based journal, fine. It gives a lot of information, fine. But that apart, the greatest quality in NJH, which everybody would definitely appreciate, is it gives a big platform even for the neophytes. A new person who wants to speak about his achievement in the clinical practice, or about his book, or about something which he has learned, NJH gives the platform. Nobody else would give. And this is the greatest strength. It encourages young people as well. On the very first in like SSMS, I was given an opportunity to speak. So likewise, you can see a lot of people who became stalwarts later. They all had shared this platform of NJH. That apart, in fact, you can see today, as Dr. Vishpala was saying, like today is the greatest day according to the international understanding, like kissing day. Whom do we kiss today? We kiss NJH. We kiss homeopathy. We kiss the people who are suffering. I may not be like Mother Teresa that I kiss everybody, but at the same time, from my heart of hearts, I try to kiss the patient and tell him, don't worry, you would be comfortable. This is the message being given by NJH through its articles, through its clinical provings, through its all editorial board, dedicated to teachers, dedicated to writers. All these things are happening because of a teamwork led by none other than that vibrant Dr. Vishpala Parthasarathi. And we have, I can't name, like Ajit is there, Dr. Asrani is there, Lata, Rama Hariharan, many people. All these people, Krutik Shah has had hundreds of seminars, webinars. So we have too many people, Dr. Bhaskar Bhatt, Dr. Tiwari, Dr. Kasim Chintanwala, you name them. They are all at various levels have achieved so much of name, fame, but they contribute to the growth of NJH as well as the growth of homeopathy. So my wish always is to see that every homeopath must read one magazine definitely every day. And that should be NJH at least on alternate days, because it gives a lot of information, lot of clinical acumen, and it would give a lot of encouragement rather than anything else. If a particular neophyte comes into the practice, he doesn't need to be bogged down. He knows there are such type of cases. He can refer to the previous NJH also, and he can be well equipped. So I really wish all the best to all the NJH. And today's webinar should be called as Arsenic webinar. Means ARS. Anjali, Rama, and Shahala. Rajani and Shahala. All three women, they are going to rock. And I wish you all the best. And I wish all the participants a great learning through this webinar once again. Thank you very much. Thank you, NJH. Thank you, Vishpala. Thanks a lot. All the best.
Dr. Praveen Kumar, very much. You've really set the ball rolling, and it has to only now go further. Anjali, back to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vishpala, and thank you so much, Dr. Praveen, both of you, for your amazing words of encouragement. We are so pleased and happy that we have guidance from people like you who have all this wonderful experience, who have all this wonderful knowledge and are willing to share it with us without any barriers, without any kind of conditions. This unconditional love from all of you. We are so thankful. So in that spirit of unconditional love and in that spirit of beauty, we will start today's seminar. Our first speaker today is Dr. Rajni. Dr. Rajni Gwalani. I am going to just share a little about her. She is one of the most prominent physicians in Mumbai. She has studied a lot with her MBBS, DCH, DPH, and FCGP. All her life, she has fought to study with lots of support and encouragement from her professors. Her love was for cosmetology, and she has been practicing for over 45 years and has been involved with homeopathy since 1982. She has done her postgraduate in pediatrics and in public health and has worked at the BMC for over 31 years. She is so proud to have been able to serve the people in this capacity. She is also a researcher and has a lot of academic interest, where she has organized lectures for doctors in Zen Hospital. She is also an author, and her book, Cosmetic Dermatology Primer, is very popular. She has received many awards for her presentations and her community service. That community service has been a big part of her life. Both in city and in the villages, she has helped conduct many medical camps. Part of her philanthropy has been treating students both in mentally challenged schools and in orphanages. And right now, with her charity work for cancer patients, she is collecting hair for them. And she started with her own hair as part of the first donation. She has been very involved with the NJH for many, many years and reviewing books for us, as well as being a moderator for the SSMS seminars. As part of her creativity, she enjoys cooking, reading, and singing. I present to you Dr. Rajni, who will now share with us her wonderful knowledge and her amazing experience with cosmetology. Dr. Rajni, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Anjali, for your kind introduction and kind words. Good evening, friends. At the outset, I thank Dr. Vishpala and the NJH team for giving me this great opportunity to present before such an august gathering. Today, I'll be speaking on skin and hair rejuvenation, tips and tricks. An old adage says, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder and not skin deep. Written by Margaret Wolf in a book, Molly Dawn, as early as 1878. True, real beauty lies deep within us, and yet each one of us strongly desire to look beautiful and have a glowing and radiant skin. Now, if you want to look young and youthful forever, wake up, friends, and spend some quality time for yourself too. No pains, no gains. Prevention is better than cure. Histological changes of aging start as early as age 20, and the basic minimal skin and hair care should be started at the earliest. Now, skincare routine is a very rich, holistic ritual which one should sincerely follow all your life to maintain a healthy and glowing skin. Your internal health reflects on your skin externally. Your skin is the mirror of your internal health. Now, skincare routine is divided into internal care and external care. Now, the internal care is nothing else but healthy lifestyle, which comprises of healthy diet, adequate water, adequate sleep, exercise, and coping with stress. A well-balanced and healthy, wholesome diet is very, very essential for good health. So, friends, you should eat plenty of green leafy vegetables, colorful vegetables, salads, fruits. They are rich in antioxidants. A lot of sprouts, legumes, millets, nuts, and various seeds like flax seeds, chia seeds, your sunflower seeds, and pumpkin seeds. They are very, very nutritive. Cottage cheese and curds, soya, tofu, they are very good in proteins. And the non-vegetarians can have eggs and fish. Why do we need adequate water? This is basically to hydrate us internally and to eliminate the toxins from our body. So friends, at least 8 to 10 glasses of water and fluids should be consumed every day. Sleep. At least 6 to 8 hours of sound and relaxed sleep is essential. And during sleep, our skin gets rest, it gets repaired and rejuvenated. And the most impact is seen between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Melatonin, which helps in this rejuvenation, is secreted best during 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. So friends, early to bed is very important. Exercise. 30 minutes of exercise at least 5 days in a week is very essential. And this can be done in form of walking, jogging, static cycling, stretches and muscle strengthening, facial and neck exercises to help in your firming and sculpting your face. What is stress? Stress is inevitable. All of us come across it. But the key is to cope up with this. And we can cope up with stress by doing exercises, meditation, yoga, positive thinking. Divert your mind to other activities like music, dance, whatever you're very fond of. Deep breathing and visualizing the beautiful moments you have experienced in life. They make you feel relaxed and you feel happy. Now, the external care consists of night care routine and day care routine. We'll be first discussing about night care routine. This comprises of cleansing, toning, serums, and moisturizing. Now, what do we mean by cleansing? The first and foremost thing to do is you must remove all your makeup from your face and from your eye. Now, to do this, take a cotton ball, put a few drops of baby oil, or you can take almond oil or even olive oil. Now, with this, you dab all over your face, on your neck, below your eyes, and clean it thoroughly. After you have cleaned up your makeup, you should cleanse your face. And this can be done by using a face wash or a cleanser, which should be based basically on your skin type. Now, if you have an oily skin, you can use a water-based one. And if you have a dry skin, use a cream-based. See that it is non-foaming, non-comedogenic, and fragrance-free. Once you have taken the face wash on your palm, wet palm, apply it all over your forehead, your cheeks, your chin, and the neck. And see that you go into circular motions all over and in the upward direction and clean it thoroughly. And once you're done up with this, rinse your face with normal or lukewarm water. Friends, never use hot water. You're going to rip off the natural oils on your skin. And lastly, dab your skin dry gently. Next comes toning. Now this toning is optional. And for this you can, and this is basically used for oily and acne prone skin. 100% pure and organic rose water can be used as a toner or a non-alcohol based toner. Now what does a toner do? Similarly, like how we did the removing of the makeup, you can take a cotton ball, put a little few drops of your rose water and dab it all over your face and just gently wipe it off. Toner helps to remove any residual cleanser or makeup that may be left behind after cleansing. Serums. Serums are very useful as anti-aging and used after the age of 30. They boost the collagen and firm our skin. It has good antioxidant properties and it helps in reducing the freckles, the fine lines, the wrinkles and sagging of the skin. Do a patch test, which is very essential before using any product for the first time, and choose the right one according to your skin type. Now, take the serum, few drops in your hand, and first of all, with your little finger, your ring finger, gently apply it below your eyes, and then all over your face and neck. Okay? And after you have done that, and always when you are buying a serum, please check. Look for vitamin A, C, E, ferulic acid, peptides, hyaluronic acid, and CoQ10 in your serums. And never compromise on the quality of your product. The most important thing, moisturizing. All skin types need moisturizing, even if it is an oily skin. Now, if you have a oily skin, you can use a water-based moisturizer. And if it is a dry skin, use a cream-based moisturizer. Take a little moisturizer in your hand and you put little spots all over your face and your neck. Never forget, and under the eye. So first apply under the eye and then all over the face and go into circular motion and upward motion and smoothly apply all over. Now, if you're about 30, then you can choose a moisturizer which is enriched with vitamin C and vitamin E and peptides, hyaluronic acid, And you can skip the step of applying serums if you have a moisturizer with serums. So friends, moisturize, moisturize, and moisturize to have a hydrated skin. And once you have a hydrated skin, you have a glowing, healthy skin. Now the basic day care routine, which comprises of cleansing, moisturizing, and sun protection. Friends, we have already spoken about cleansing and moisturizing. I would just add one point to moisturizing. Daytime, you can use a light moisturizer. Now, sun protection. We need to do sun protections against UVA, UVB, and infrared rays, and thus to prevent pigmentations and freckles, premature aging, skin cancer, etc. To have good sun protection, we need a sunscreen, and which is your best friend. Different formulations are available in the market. You have in forms of lotion, gel, creams, and spray. So friends, you should select the sunscreen according to your skin type. If it's oily, you use related to that, you can use a gel or a matted form. If it's dry, you can use a cream form. And if your skin is sensitive, you get special sunscreens for sensitive skin. Whenever you're selecting a sunscreen, see that it is a broad spectrum sunscreen with SPF of at least 30 and containing a physical sunblock called titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. Also confirm the PA value. It should be +3 or +4 to be effective. Now, take at least 1 teaspoon of sunscreen and apply liberally all over your face, neck, and the exposed parts. Apply it at least 15 minutes before you step out of the house. And if you're going to be there for longer, reapply every 2 to 3 hours. You must apply 365 days of the year, even if you're indoors, in your car, or outdoors. Friends, why? Because the UVA rays, they penetrate through glass. And if the glass is clear, they penetrate up to 70%. And if it's a tinted glass, 30 to 50% is penetrating. So the UVA rays will have its detrimental effect even if you're sitting inside. So you must apply it. So friends, the right choice of the product according to your skin type in a right manner and a patch test before using for the first time is very, very essential to achieve good and effective results. Let's speak little about some tips for radiant and glowing skin. Learn to love your skin as it is your beautiful own skin. Focus on the things you can change and on the things you can't. Friends, choose your product according to your skin type. Always do a patch test before using a new product for the first time. Please do not prick your pimples and pop it out. You're going to leave behind dirty blemishes, dirty marks, and ugly scars, and they are very difficult to take care of. Steam your face only once a week. Do not scrub your face every day, only once a week or fortnight. Apply lip balm or Vaseline when you have cracked lips a couple of times a day. Please do not get lured by the products of high claims and miraculous results overnight. Many a times your hand goes on the fairness creams. So before, actually nothing can make you fair. This is all genetically determined. But if you get on it, please check the ingredients because many times steroids are also there. And unknowingly, you will be applying steroids for months and years together, and you're going to make it detrimental and harmful effects on your skin, which is very, very difficult to repair. Anti-aging products to be used only after the age of 25 to 30 years and as recommended by a dermatologist. And once again, I stress, friends, sunscreen is a must 365 days a year, whether you are indoors or outdoors. Now, before I speak of homemade products, I would like to tell something. First of all, the ingredients which are selected, they are anti-aging, they have antioxidants, they have moisturizing properties in them. And usually they are safe, but sometimes there are hypersensitive patients and they may react to that. So friends, always before using any product, even if it's homemade, you must check, have a patch test done. And only if it's suitable to you, use it. So now we'll speaking about a homemade scrub. For this, you take 1 tablespoon of raw rice. To this, you add 1 tablespoon of masoor dal, 3 to 4 almonds, and grind it. Now to make a paste out of this, if your skin is oily, add milk. If it is normal skin, add yogurt. And if it is dry skin, you may add malai. Make a paste out of this and start scrubbing, starting from your forehead, your cheeks, your upper, above the lip, down and on your neck. And scrub this properly for 5 minutes. Repeat this only once a fortnight or a month. A homemade face mask for oily skin. You can take oats powder, 1 tablespoonful, plus good quality honey, 1 tablespoonful, plus rose water or milk. And if your skin is dry, you can take a teaspoon of milk, a teaspoon of honey, and 1 teaspoon of aloe vera gel, and add 2 to 3 drops of vitamin A. This is a capsule which you can just squeeze in. Now, you make a paste out of it, apply on your face, on your neck, and leave it for 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, wash it off. Now, if you have an acne-prone and pigmented skin, you can make a fruit peel at home. It works like a chemical peel. So you take 2 tablespoons of yogurt plus 1/3 fruit with a peel. So you take a banana 1/3, orange and apple, and put it in the mixer and grind it. And this mixed one, you mix with 1 teaspoon of aloe vera gel and sandalwood powder, 1 teaspoon you add to this, and a few drops of vitamin B. Mix it well and then apply on your face and on your neck and leave it for 20 minutes and then wash it off. You can repeat this you can apply once a week. A lip scrub made at home. Just take a few granules of brown sugar. To this, you can add half a teaspoon of honey. Mix it well and scrub it on your lips gently for a minute. Now leave it for a minute and then wash it off. Following this, you can apply a lip balm or some little drops of olive oil on your lip couple of times to keep it soft and moisturized. I will tell you some quick tips for glowing skin. You're feeling very, very dull and haggard and you want to go out in the evening. So you can take a few slices of cucumber soaked in milk, refrigerate them for 20 to 25 minutes, and then in lying down position, apply on the face and the eyes and eyes closed for 10 to 15 minutes. And then you can wash it off. You'll feel very, very refreshed. You can, if you have tan skin and you again have to go for a special party in the evening, you can make your own skin mask at home and use it. So what you're going to do, take a pre-refrigerated papaya puree, 1 tablespoonful. To this you add cucumber puree, 1 tablespoon, and yogurt, 1 tablespoonful, and 1 teaspoon of aloe vera gel. You can take a fresh one too. Mix it all and then apply all on the face and neck in a gentle way and leave it for 10 minutes. After that, you can rinse it off. See how fresh and see the difference you'll feel, and you'll be happy to go to the party. Now, friends, let's speak about hair care routine. Now, hair care routine, as you see in the list, comprises of the following. And let's take each one in details. Shampooing. Shampooing is needed for cleansing your scalp and hair, which has accumulated all dirt and grime and dust throughout the day. You must choose a shampoo according to your hair type. The number of times a week will depend on your hair type. Now, if you have an oily scalp, you can wash your hair daily or on alternate days. And if it is a dry scalp, you can do it once or twice a week. Now, how you're going to shampoo your scalp? Just wet your hair, take a little shampoo in your palm. Please do not dilute it and apply all over your scalp and in circular motion, scrub it very nicely. And after you have done this, wash with water which is normal or lukewarm and cleanse off the shampoo thoroughly. Remember, friends, shampoo only cleanses your scalp, but it does not help in hair growth. Now comes conditioning. What does a conditioner do? It seals the moisture in your hair. So according to your hair type, you're going to choose the conditioner. Now, following shampoo, you're going to condition your hair. We do shampooing on the scalp, but the conditioner should be only applied on the hair shaft and not on the scalp. Otherwise, you'll make your hair greasy. So, and even a conditioner should not be diluted before use. Now, leave it on according to your hair type. If it is oily, you can leave it for a minute. But if it is very dry and freezy, you can leave it for 3 to 5 minutes. After that, you rinse it off well. And once you have done that, you take a nice cold water rinse at the end, which will make your hair look very shiny. Drying of hair. Please do not squeeze out the water from the hair. At this stage, cuticles are very swollen. And if you're going to rub, you're going to break them and damage your hair. Only dab your hair. Turban your head with a small cotton towel or a microfiber towel which absorbs the water well. Combing of hair. Please do not comb your wet hair because hair is fragile then. Let it be semi-dry or dry. Please comb with a white tooth comb. Always select a right comb also. Now, if you have very sparse and thin hair, you can put your head upside down and you can comb your hair in this position. This will improve the volume and give a good bounce to your hair. Now, if you are in a rush and you have to use a blow dryer to dry your hair fast, please keep the blow dryer on the cold switch and keep it at a distance of 15 to 20 centimeters. And please don't forget to regularly clean your combs and brushes. The styling procedures on the scalp. Please do not overuse heat on the hair. Heat removes moisture and it will make your hair dry and frizzy. Avoid too much of straightening, smoothing, curling and perming. Avoid hair treatments like keratin and cysteine too frequently. If at all you are forced to do because of your profession and you want that pretty looking straight hair, don't repeat it before 6 to 8 months. Use a heat protective serum or spray before styling. Now, coloring of hair. Whenever you are using the hair color for the first time, do a patch test before doing that. Always use good quality products which are suitable for your hair type. Use products without parabens, ammonias or PPD. Always check these ingredients and don't take them if they are there. And hair coloring should be done at longer intervals, say 6 to 8 weeks. And avoid any permanent treatment on the same day of coloring. It will do harm to your hair. Bedtime care is also very, very essential. Please do not tie your hair too tightly. And if you have long hair, just loosely plait your hair. No high ponytails because you're going to cause pressure pulling and traction alopecia. Please tie your hair comfortably when you're going to sleep. Oiling. Oil only conditions your hair. Leave oil on the scalp for 1 to 2 hours only. Longer application can lead to dandruff. Oiling with a gentle massage gives a relaxing feeling, but it has no effect on hair growth. And your hair nutrition. Your hair is what you eat. As we said, the skin is mirror to your inner health. Hair is also a mirror to your inner health. A healthy diet is very, very essential for hair health and hair growth. Plenty of proteins, at least 1 gram per kg. Say if you're 60 kg, you need 60 grams of protein. Iron, biotin, vitamins and zinc rich foods are very, very important. You should consume them. Internal health reflects on your hair. A little hair facts. We are all born with an average of 1 lakh hair strands. And if there is a fall of 50 to 100 strands of hair, it is just normal, don't panic. But if it falls beyond this, try to find out, try to pinpoint what is the cause of this hair fall. And the causes commonly seen for hair fall are genetic, that is androgenic alopecia, stress. Stress can be physical, mental, emotionally, following pregnancy, following any illness, following surgery also. And this kind of stress effect on the hair is called telogen effluvium. And this is reversible. So if you pick it up, you can treat it. Deficiencies, excessive sugar and maida and processed food. It secretes a lot of oil and sebum on your scalp. And again, which is damaging to you. Hormonal problems like hypothyroidism, PCOD causes hair fall. Weather effects, sun, wind, heat. Harsh chemical treatments done too often. And certain drugs like steroids, anti-cancer drugs, and many others do affect our hair fall. And lastly, the crash dieting. Now let's speak of some hair tips. Do not overwash your hair. Use the right shampoo and conditioner. Please do not wipe your hair too vigorously after washing. Do not comb or tie your hair when wet. Dry your hair naturally as far as possible. Avoid using too much of styling tools and all harsh chemical treatments. Protect your hair from sun damage and harsh winds by wearing a cap or a hat or wearing a scarf. And do not tie your hair too tight. As I previously told you, you can get traction alopecia. Hair fall due to nutritional deficiency should be corrected with nutritional diet and supplements. Oiling conditions your hair but does not help in hair growth. Please do not leave oil on your scalp for more than 1 to 2 hours. Do not use hot water to wash your hair. They are going to rip off the oil from your hair. Do not use elastic or metallic bands. Trim your hair if you have split ends every 10 to 12 weeks. But remember, by trimming, you're not going to stimulate hair growth, a myth. And lastly, friends, yoga asanas stimulate good blood flow to your scalp. Now let's speak a little about dandruff. What is dandruff? Dandruff is a scalp infection caused by the yeast Malassezia globosa, which thrives on the excessive oil and sebum in the scalp, and its multiplication leads to flaking of the scalp. Now, this is caused by stress, hormonal changes, air pollution, and poor health hygiene, poor scalp hygiene. Now, how you're going to treat it? You must regularly have hair washes 2 to 3 times a week. Use an anti-dandruff shampoo, but check, does it contain pyrithione zinc? Then only it will be effective. Or a ketoconazole shampoo, which you can use weekly. And one more tip I can give, essential oils like tea tree oil and neem oil, if mixed together and applied on the scalp for a half an hour and then washed off, helps in decreasing your dandruff. One homemade remedy for dandruff. You can make this hair mask. Take puree of 1 fresh tomato. To this you add 1 teaspoon of aloe vera gel and mix it well and apply on the scalp. Wash it after 30 minutes with a normal shampoo. Tomato changes pH of your scalp, and aloe vera is anti-inflammatory and calms the scalp. For dry and damaged hair, take 1 egg, add to this 2 tablespoonfuls of yogurt, 1 teaspoon of honey, mix and apply on the scalp for 10 minutes and then rinse it. Eggs are good sources of amino acid and they help in restoring the integrity of cuticles. Yogurt, it moisturizes and helps the damaged cuticles. And honey, it absorbs the moisture and helps the cuticle to go back to the normal shape and restore the luster. Vegetarians can replace the egg with an avocado. Now, if you have normal hair, maintain this good hair by taking lots of antioxidants and moisturizing your hair. For this, you can take 1 tablespoon powdered brown sugar, add 1 banana, mash and apply to the scalp and leave it for 10 to 15 minutes. Then you can wash it off. The brown sugar is a very good exfoliant that removes the upper dead skin cell layers of the scalp, while banana, it hydrates the hair and moisturizes your scalp. Friends, I would like to tell you about this Power Pack juice, which is rich in antioxidants and iron, which help in hair growth. So take half a beetroot, plus 1 carrot, plus 1 amla or 1 tomato, and take few leaves of spinach, coriander, and mint. And to this, you add half cup of water and grind it. You have a glass of very, very healthy juice ready. Have it and start feeling fresh and happy. So friends, prevention is worth a pound of cure. The only formula for skin and hair rejuvenation is healthy lifestyle and regular skin and hair care regime. Now I would like to tell you, friends, about the research I conducted, an intensive study on hair fall in the year 1991. This I did it for 1 year, and the results were the causes of hair fall, which I found were aging, hormonal causes, nutritional deficiencies, stress, certain skin disorders, postpartum, menopausal, certain drugs, trichotillomania, where the person pulls his own hair due to some psychological problem and hair styling treatment. Effect of homeopathy. Very good results with homeopathic similimum in following disorders was obtained. Anagen phase disruption disorders like in poisoning, taking chemotherapeutic agents, radiation. Then the telogen phase disorders like post-stress or postpartum or because of nutritional deficiencies. In this telogen phase disorders, more and more hair get prematurely in the resting phase. And certain autoimmune disorders like psoriasis, SLE, or in tinea capitis or traction alopecia, I had mild or no results in cases of androgenic alopecia, in certain congenital syndromes with alopecia, and scarring alopecia caused by the permanent destruction of your hair follicle stem cells. This is after burns and after deep radiation. Homeopathy does not have any specific remedy for any specific ailments. A holistic approach and selecting the right similimum on the totality of the symptoms gives good results, along with taking care of the nutritional deficiency and counseling the patients on leading a very healthy lifestyle. After an in-depth study of homeopathy remedies, I selected a few of them as single or in combination for local application and tried and tested them first on myself, on the family, friends, and my patients with the prior consent, free of cost. I achieved positive and inspiring results with remedies like Arnica, Jaborandi, Cantharis, and Badiaga mother tinctures locally after individualizing them. Homeopathy does wonders. And friends, it works in the following conditions: hair loss, stimulating hair growth, dandruff, pediculosis of the hair, in acne, pigmentation, skin brightening, and skin glow. As you can see the picture up of a bottle, this is how I give the bottle called oil mix. The solution which I decide, I put, if it's a single, I put in 15 ml. If there are two remedies which I'm mixing, then I put 7.5 ml of each. And this oil mix I give to the patient and tell them to mix in 200 ml of oil, which can be coconut, or 100 ml of olive oil and almond oil. Below you can see the pictures of flawless cream. I learned to make creams by my teacher and dermatologist, Dr. Ram Malani, how different creams can be prepared and been using for last couple of years. And with this study, I came across constitutional remedies which were frequently coming as constitutional remedy in cases of alopecia areata was acid phos, acid flow, sepia, phosphorus, mesarium, and graphitis. And in premature graying and premature baldness, the list as you can see. And in cases of dandruff and itchy scalp, the list as you can see in the slide. So friends, I would like to clarify a few things before I speak about my success stories. Friends, I would like to clarify, I am first and foremost an allopathic doctor, a cosmetologist, and homeopathy I started as a curiosity, and now I am very passionate and deeply into it. My approach to a patient is cafeteria approach. I speak to my patients for at least half an hour when they come to me for the first time and tell them what all I have to offer, the effects, the side effects, and their limitations. I let them choose what they would like to opt for, and I respect and honor their decision to decide. I do the procedures as mentioned in the slide. Though I have learned for Botox, fillers, and lasers, I restrict myself. So if indicated, I would rather refer that patient to a skilled and experienced dermatologist for good results. My success stories. So here is a patient. She's 40 years old. She came crying to me with, as you can see, hair loss in the frontal region. And she said, do anything for me, doctor. I want to have good hair. So in her case, I gave her a homeopathy similimum and even a local application of oil, which she applied. And as you can see the result, At the end of 3 months, she had beautiful growth in that area. My second patient, this guy was 38 years old, living in Pune. And when he developed this moth-eaten picture, as you can see on the back, he was so embarrassed. He did not go to work. He said, I did not go to work. Why? Because of this look. So one of his friends suggested him to come to Bombay and take treatment from me. He came to Bombay taking 2 months of leave, and he said he doesn't want any internal medicine. You do some local treatment for me. So in this case, I applied the local application homeopathy. I did a derma roller on it. And at the end of 4 weeks, you can see the picture. And at the end of 2 months to 10 weeks to, you can say 12 weeks, the results are very fast, more than my expectation. And he was very, very happy. Here you see a patient. He came with alopecia areata, 2 patches. He was 20 years old guy. And he said he doesn't want any internal medicine, just local. So I gave him the solution, my homeopathic solution to apply. He applied it for 2 months, and you can see the results at the end of 2 months. This is a case of androgenic alopecia. I actually refused that I would not be able to treat. But he said, no, doctor, I have faith in you. Whatever it is, even no results, I would like to treat. And he said, you give me anything, but I don't want any local cosmetologic procedure. I agreed to him. I said, let me try. And in this case, I gave him the homeopathic similimum, plus I gave him that solution which I prepare according to his nature and all. And he applied this for 3 months rather. And you can see the results at the end of 3. We could not help the receding temporal line, but you can see the growth. Now this patient, this is the second picture. The first picture I could not find. He came to me with and in the stage 3 and stage 4, that is grade 3 and 4 pimples, and lots of acne on his forehead, cheeks, chin, and even on the back. So this guy said he just wants local treatment. And in this case, I use the chemical peels, glycolic, and even salicylic acid. And you can see at the end of 4 weeks, about 4 sessions I did it. And at the end of 12 weeks, 3 months, see the results. He was so happy that he started sending so many patients to me. And lastly, a dear patient of mine, she would have breakouts of acne very, very frequently. I started with doing chemical peels with increasing concentration, glycolic, and even salicylic, but they would recur. So finally, I decided to use the Jesnus peel. I did at intervals of 15 days. After about 4 sittings, you can see the results. And she was so happy, ready to go for a party. Friends, I would like to just mention about my book, which I was desiring to make. And in the year 2013, with the help of my close friend, Dr. Ramesh Subramaniam, who is a journalist, he helped me in editing it. And my first guru, Ramesh Chavan, who taught me cosmetology first. So this is the book, Cosmetic Dermatology Primer. And before, friends, I end the talk today, I would like to pay my sincere and heartfelt homage to my most beloved teacher and guru, Dr. Praful Vijaykar sir, who has had a great influence on my homeopathic learning. I also express my thanks and gratitude to all my homeopathic teachers, Dr. Sarla Sonawala, Dr. Vitulkas, Dr. Sholton, Dr. Misha Nolan, Dr. Rajan Shankaran, Farooq Master, Kishore Mehta, doctors from the HHF group, Dr. Rupa Kothari, Dr. Satya Narayan from Bangalore. And last but not the least, my very own dear Dr. Vishpala, Dr. Asrani, and all the stalwart teachers of our NJH team. Thank you all, and I bow down to all of you. Thank you all for your patient listening. Thank you.